Hi guys, this is Richard at Ryden's Room again. This is part 2 of the Series 4 DVD review for South Park. Which continuing immediately from part 1, only difference is change the pop fungos. Again, like I said, with Simpsons pretty much being overtaken by South Park at this point, got the old Panther Marge from one of the later Halloween episodes, which is actually one of my favourite ones. And got no more pop fungos from South Park, no more toys whatsoever. I should really get some. But yeah, South Park of course had aliens right in the beginning. They're even a major part of the Series 7 opener. So the X-Files alien will do quite nicely. So yeah, on to part 2. So I finished at the two-parter. Now on to the next one. I suppose it's a good starting point actually for the next video, because this is like one of the first genuine changes South Park made. This is for the episode 4th grade. So this is where they get upgraded. Obviously, this is where they get upgraded from 3rd to 4th grade with a new teacher. Mr. Garrison was the 3rd grade teacher, so they have to get a new one. But yeah, even though none of those kids in South Park act like 8-year-olds, they act much more like teenagers. This is the first time of them actually getting older, and it's a good thing, because the only real cartoon I can think of where characters do age but doesn't really change anything is Futurama, because characters are already adults. Whereas when they're all kids, it kind of limits you. Those shows like Simpsons would badly benefit from aging the characters a bit, particularly with the storylines, where South Park, they always acted older, so it made no difference. But yeah, so 4th grade, they got a new teacher, Miss Jokes on Dick. No one seems to get the reference, and then they get the like smarter tables, like chairs, like the ones with like the chair and then like the desk part, which is sort of like slot in and right on the side. Hard to describe, but yeah, you get the idea. And they realise how much 4th grade sucks. You know, the teacher's like got a lazy eyes wash, got huge knockers, as Kenny quickly notices, and she's just so strict on them and doesn't take any shit from any of them. It's yeah, they just realise how much better 3rd grade was, and get these kids into get these kids into Star Trek to build a time machine using Timmy's wheelchair so they can go back to 3rd grade and relive the apparently amazing year. And in the end, they realise 3rd grade absolutely sucks. And Miss Jokes the Dick has to make contact with Mr. Garrison. It turns out that there's something I completely missed in a previous episode. In an old one, Mr. Garrison had got fired. He was the whole being arrested by the FBI for trying to solicit sex from a child. He didn't get away with that. This isn't like Family Guy where it can be forgotten when you get like a week's prison sentence. Oh no, the school board fired him for that. They weren't too bothered about his lack of like teaching skills. It's more his police record that's a problem. So yeah, they kicked him out of that, and he then wrote a book, a romance novel, rather gay porn. So not a romance novel. They wrote a book called The Valley of Penises. I'm sure you can imagine what that involved. And yeah, he turns out he won the Pulitzer Prize, or rather the Gay Pulitzer Prize, for that book, because it was the best homoerotic novel since Huckleberry Finn. So yeah, he just completely snapped. He still wouldn't accept he was gay, and just lost it. Had a breakdown, went into the mountains to live on rat carcasses, and no one bothered to go looking for him. So Mr. Jokes on Dick has to. And yeah, Mr. Garrison finally accepts that he's actually gay. All of it. He goes into like basically the cave on Dagobah from Star Wars to discover more about himself. Mr. Jokes on Dick goes through, has nothing to discover about herself, so she just walks out of the exit, whereas Mr. Garrison has to face his dark side, his gay side, and he does. And yeah, he admits he's like gay, goes back to school to ask for a job, and they don't, because they don't hire gay people. It's so bad. So yeah, he gives Miss Chucks and Dick advice, like when Cartman tells her to suck his balls, she must ask him to present them. That's just the vulgar response, is the best way to deal with kids like Cartman. It's pretty funny, and again, they don't go through with this staying in 3rd grade thing. Timmy's wheelchair works, it creates a time portal, but he ends up just getting sucked back through like different times completely. He's being chased by a Triceratops in the past, and he ends up in like a Pirate Time. It's great. But of course, it's Timmy, so you'll never have him tell everyone what happened exactly. But yeah, good episode, and I love that you don't just reset the characters. Some in South Park, even though it's much more obvious now, ever since the beginning, they're incredibly good for like continuity, and yeah, this is like one of the best examples. Yeah, next episode is Trapper Keeper. This is basically the Terminator episode, and Cartman gets his Trapper Keeper, which, again, I think this is more of an American thing. I never really saw them in England, or if it did, I don't remember them. Cartman basically gets a school folder where he can sort things like with special storage boxes and stuff. It's hard to describe, but any American guys who are watching will probably know this better than me. I just don't remember them being a big thing here. But yeah, and Dawson's Creek, although I knew what that was. Apparently that's one of the better of those shows, but I never really watched it. But yeah, basically Cartman's Trapper Keeper is destined to destroy the world Terminator style. They get this new kid, like a guy who looks like in his 30s called Bill Cosby, who turns out to be a like Terminator style robot cyborg sent back to destroy Cartman's Trapper Keeper before it can take over the world. It's great stuff. And yeah, he fails. They get the Trapper Keeper off Cartman, and as he's destroying it, Cartman just gets a new one. And then, of course, that Trapper Keeper then takes over the world. Cartman just won't accept this and refuses to give his new Trapper Keeper up. It's pretty damn funny. Like, Bill Cosby's actually willing to kill Cartman to protect the future. The kid's like, wait, yeah, go ahead. Oh, no, wait, can I do it? Like, no issue with him killing Cartman. But yeah, he discovers, like, the value of life, much like Terminator 2. And the kids don't. It's pretty funny, and yeah, but like, he convinces Cartman's mum not to buy him anymore. She, of course, goes off and seduces him. Then the Trapper Keeper thing happens. It starts taking over the world. The B plot is Mr. Garrison did get a job after all. He got made the kindergarten teacher. It was probably the worst people he could have ever taught, just because Garrison's the worst man possible to teach anyone, let alone impressionable 3 to 5 year olds, or maybe 4 to 5, but Ike is in there. He gets to do kindergarten early, so it's like his first episode as well, as like a student. And yeah, basically, this was the 2000 election episode, so like all South Park have actually done elections in every 4 years, which is quite cool. This is sort of based on it. It's not too obvious. That's how I didn't even pick up on that for a while. But basically, Mr. Garrison is like having them elect class president, and it goes on and on. No one can decide whether they want Ike the genius or this kid called Fillmore to be class president, and they just have it just gets completely out of hand. And basically, in the end, Fillmore has this famous aunt called Rosie O'Donnell who shows up to help, and yeah. I've never seen anything Rosie O'Donnell's in. I don't know what she's like in real life, or if she's just obnoxious in whatever. I don't know if she's an actress or anything else, really. But yeah, she's the worst. This girl can't stand her, properly tears her apart for only caring that Fillmore wins and doesn't care about the other kids. And yeah, she just brings more lawyers, and she inadvertently saves the day. Like, Cartman's like basically taken bait on this mountain. He's like, his trapkeeper's infusing with everything. There's no chance. There's no way of stopping him. Kyle has to go in and stop him, and you get the great 2001 parody. What are you doing, Kyle? And yeah, Kyle can't stop Cartman. Then Rosie O'Donnell shows up, tells Cartman to get out of the way. He just infuses with her. It makes him sick, and they're able to like remove Cartman's CPU and save him. And yeah, Rosie O'Donnell's mangled body gets shot out with Cartman. It's pretty funny. And yeah, it works. Bill Cosby unfortunately disappears, which is a bitch, as kids say, because he's quite a fun character. And yeah, in the end, Cartman's forced to like thank Kyle for like saving him from the Trapper Keeper, and Kyle's like prepares to thank him, Kyle, and it just cuts off after his mouth opens. You never see Cartman thank Kyle. It's great stuff. So yeah, very funny. I just love the Terminator parody, and I think every show has parody Terminator at this point, is just so good. Yeah, I'd love to see Bill Cosby again, but time travel rules. Once his job's done, he comes from future doesn't exist, so he just disappears. Next episode, and this one I kind of often skip a lot. Helen, Keller, the musical. It's got good moments in. Basically, they're like trying to put on this Christmas play, or Thanksgiving play rather. Butters, a bit more to in this episode, is convinced the kindergarten kids have got like the greatest show ever, amazing special effects, all sorts. So the fourth graders are desperate to beat them at any cost. They get like a professional guy with a performing turkey to help. Cartman's the director. Even he like has visions of all sorts of horrible things going on to get inspiration, such as like rats eating each other. He's no idea how to like put on a good show. Yeah, Timmy gets his pet turkey called Gobbles. It's quite a cute relationship. Timmy, despite his like limited vocab and everything, genuinely loves Gobbles, the deformed turkey. It doesn't go down well in the school play, but yeah, it's not so much to talk about in the episode, really. Timmy gets tricked into letting his turkey Gobbles go, just so like the guy's like famous turkey can perform instead. Jimbo and his friends try it desperate on a turkey hunt, try and kill Timmy's turkey. Timmy saves it and gets shot through the arm, and then Timmy may have a handicap, but he's smart and he can do whatever he wants really without any trouble. He has Jimbo and his friends gun down the other turkey. It's pretty good. And then Gobbles puts on a great show, like with his deformed neck, to like rather than jumping through a ring of fire, kind of just drops his neck over and then hops across without burning himself. It's pretty funny. I hope you've never seen Gobbles again, but I hope he's like living with Timmy somewhere. It's a cute relationship. But yeah, Butters is a complete idiot. This amazing performance the kindergarten kids are doing is like them singing and then a firework going off. That's it. Yeah, good episode, but I tend to skip it. And next up, we have the episode that a lot of people really hate. I don't know if it's the character or the story they're telling. It's Great Expectations with Pip as the main character. Obviously, older episode has Pip basically being an orphan. So this isn't actually, I mean, yeah, in the book, in Great Expectations story here, Pip is living with his, I think it's his older sister, and I'm sure the blacksmith is maybe his brother or cousin. So it might be somewhat like Pip's real life, because you never see his home life. It's just that his parents are dead. But yeah, it's basically the Great Expectations story, but with some natural South Park madness like robot monkeys. Pip anyone's not read the book. Hell, I've never read it, but I probably should. I think I've wikied it. Pip is basically hired to hang out with this little girl, this rich girl who's like horrible to everybody. Pip then gets sent to England to learn how to become a gentleman, and then comes as a gentleman, gets to hang out with that little girl again, and now he has this chance of her falling in love with him, and he doesn't. She's got this boyfriend who's got to be like 17, 18, and just that little girl's had loads and loads of boyfriends, most of them adults, which is pretty messed up. And the mum, Miss Havisham, has got this Genesis device where she's going to kill all of those men who've had their hearts broken and use their tears to power up the device, which will make her young forever. It's completely insane. I know Miss Havisham burns to death in her home and never goes outside after being jilted. A bit like even Game On references that with Mandy saying that's basically Matt's life. But yeah, you got the natural South Park stuff of robot monkeys, the girl proving she doesn't have a heart by killing all these innocent little rabbits, and the kid who was teaching Pip how to be a gentleman, trying to like tell jokes and make all the girl's ex-boyfriends not cry so the device fails. Then it's pretty funny. I like the episode. I always liked Pip, and I always thought it was a shame he was effectively replaced with Butters, because they're similar characters. Just to me, Butters was like somewhat more popular. I mean, Butters isn't that popular. I mean, Cartman hates him. Everyone knows that, and even the other kids take advantage of Butters every chance. But Pip was flat out hated by everybody. Even the new kid Damien, who was like nasty to him when he realised that was his chance to make friends. But yeah, that's kind of like the difference. They're both gullible, like idiots who fall for anything. It's just that Pip was treated badly, more so than Butters. But yeah, I like that episode, but a lot of people hate it, probably because it's just like the Goth Kids episode series. I mean, it's so different, and it doesn't have any of the original characters either. Yeah, I had fun, but maybe if it was a 16-episode series, I wouldn't have bothered. I don't know. Next episode is a great one, Fat Camp. Yeah, it's pretty much what you expect. Cartman. Cartman's mum finally has enough. She realises Cartman is overweight, and it's although this is all her fault. She's obviously feeding him up and everything, but her and a bunch of other people in South Park chip in to send him to Fat Camp. Cartman's not happy. It also doesn't. You kind of, in a way, feel bad for Cartman, because Cartman truly believes he's not overweight. But he is. He's obviously just got in his head that he's, slim, a big bone, beefy. That he's not. But yeah, it doesn't help that Cartman's mum's feeding him up herself repeatedly and telling him he's not fat, he's big bones. Because if Cartman had been given the truth from the start, he probably wouldn't be that fat. That, yeah. Anyway, it's just great how no one's taking responsibility. Really, it's like, yep. You've got them like, no, honey, those were lies. You're just fat. They send him to Fat Camp, and basically, yeah, Cartman doesn't do too well. Ends up making a deal with some kid at a drug rehab clinic to pose as him, and while he basically, yeah, he makes a deal with some kid at a drug rehab clinic. He, who's slim, will just pose as Cartman and is able to go home. And what he will do is get food, like fast food, for Cartman, and Cartman will then sell it at Fat Camp. It's pretty insane. And yeah, basically this new Cartman is just too suspiciously nice. You think Cartman's lost this weight, so he's just like got a new outlook on the world. Nope, it's all the fake. Kyle and Stan catch onto it quickly, and yeah, the other plot is Kenny is doing disgusting things for money, and it's all sorts of terrible Howard Stern-esque things. And in the end, the latest thing Kenny does, much to his parents' approval, of course, is climb up Miss Crabtree's uterus and stay in there for hours. And yeah, Kenny basically gets arrested for performing oral sex on somebody, gets thrown in prison. Episode Kenny doesn't die. And yeah, they just force the Cartman lookalike to do it instead. And it doesn't end well. The Cartman lookalike, or Kenny lookalike, they put him in Kenny's Parker, ends up being crushed to death from bad pressure. So yeah, he's dead, and Cartman, once his scam gets revealed, all the fat kids who is selling food to, eventually, after their parents have had enough and realise they'd be like conned, they realise they can't do this anymore. Tell on Cartman, and yeah, it's a happy ending for all the other characters. Even the adults are like willing to they're happy for their kids to return to fat camp, and as the counsellor's wording a good job that they're happy to let them stay there and then maybe learn from them and get slim, because of course all the fat kids got fat parents. Apologise for all the use of the word fat, it's just that's the title, so it's easier to say that. And yeah, of course they kick Cartman out. Cartman actually has the same. I don't think it's a fake. Cartman is a liar, sure, but Cartman does have a realization that he's making excuses for himself as well. He's tired of being the fat kid, and he's finally ready to try hard. But no, of course they're not gonna they don't believe him. Hell, the point of him gonna risk this. He effectively ruined what the counsellors were doing. So yeah, Cartman gets kicked out. Of course, screw you, fat asses. And then he starts eating a chocolate bar and crying. Something Cartman knows deep down he's blown his only chance to get slim. So yeah, good episode. I like it. Not really a skippable one like some of the others, but yeah, it's a good one, and it's just fun with the new Cartman and all the stuff Kenny does for money. Great stuff. Even Chef's song, Jesus, basically says what Kenny's doing is prostitution, but Chef doesn't see it that way because it's not sexual, until of course it becomes sexual and Kenny gets thrown in prison. Yeah, Chef has James Taylor sing a duet with him about how much they love prostitutes. Because according to Chef, the service of a prostitute is her leaving. A man needs to be with a woman but wants her to be gone when the loving's over. So to Chef, that's what the prostitute does. You pay her to leave afterwards. Very funny. And yeah, a lot less Chef in this series, which is a bit of a shame. Well, I mean, there had a lot of new characters being introduced, particularly adults, so it happened. But yeah, he's still a great character. Yeah, I miss him. Next one, the Wacky Molestation Adventure. Basically, all the kids are going to some band. What's their name? I can't remember the name of the band. I don't even know if they're a real one or not. Kyle makes the mistake of asking his parents so he can go, whereas the others just plan not to tell the parents and just make up stories about what friends' houses they're staying at. Except for Kenny, because his parents are homeless, poor deadbeats who don't care. But yeah, Kyle's parents basically tell him sarcastically he can go and see them. Oh, that's it, the Raging Pussies. You can go see them if he does insane things like bring peace to Cuba, and Kyle somehow does that. Parents are like, nope, you still can't go, so he just Cartman gives them advice, use the magic M word, and your parents will get taken away. So he does that with various boyfriends of his mum's. And yeah, all the kids start telling the police that their parents molested them. Everyone, even Shelley, gets taken away, when the Stan's parents are. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's like a Lord of the Flies sort of thing. The kids take over the town within 3 days. Society's completely fallen apart. Even the adults who aren't related to the kids just simply run away because they get accused of molestation as well. And yeah, all the adults get put into therapy, come to believe they actually did molest their children, and they get released at the end because they have to come to terms with what they've done. They basically get brainwashed by the people who are there to help them. It's pretty funny. And yeah, basically the kids, all hell breaks loose. They elect different sides, Cartman and Kenny on one side, Stan and Carl on the other. And Cartman just basically makes himself mayor after the schools. Stan and Carl met and the leaders of the schools. It's pretty funny. And apparently the original plan for Cartman was to block out the sun. Turns out Matt and Trey had simply completely forgot that Mr. Burns did that a few years ago in The Simpsons, but when one of the other writers brought it up, they're like, oh no, we can't do the same thing. And they even do an episode like that in a couple of years. And yeah, 2 random people show up from another town and help them see that, things are better with their parents around. The parents have got rules that seem unfair, but they do it because they care about the kids. And yeah, the kids accept their parents back in the end. It's a good episode. Of course, Kenny's one of the people who've killed themselves because Cartman's side and Stan and Kyle's side have this sacrifice. Each week, whoever has this book has to wins, and the other side has to sacrifice someone. It's pretty funny. Naturally, Butters was going to be sacrificed last, but the couple will show up to stop them. And final episode, again, this is their Christmas one, 4 out of 4, I think. Yeah, Series 5 didn't have one. I don't think Series 5 has any particular theme one, Halloween, Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, etc. But yeah, basically this is ultimately the Matt and Trey's creation of South Park. Basically it's Christmas, no one cares about Christmas anymore. And what they do is all the shops are going out of business, etc. No one's making any money. The kids, of course, most upset because they need the new presents. And pretty much what happens is Mr. Hankey and Kyle decide they should make a Christmas like a Christmas play, like a talking Christmas card. Basically, the first episode of South Park, or rather, the Spirit of Christmas they did before South Park got commissioned, like a talking Christmas cartoon where they talk about basically how presents are what matters, and everything goes wrong up to that point. Kenny gets killed before they can finish his stuff. They just have him die in the film. Cartman walks out because, of course, it's not. I can imagine what it's like to have had to do this because, of course, South Park episode 1 was just all done on paper, no computer assistance whatsoever, like every other episode had, and of course, the Spirit of Christmas and there's another one were the same. Every single movement of the mouth they have to do, and it just looks horrible. Of course, the kids absolutely hate it. The Christmas card is a success, and they turn down the chance to make dozens of more episodes. So, yeah, because Matt and Trey must have absolutely hated making South Park at the start because of how difficult it was to put the cutouts of the characters, set the shots up, all that stuff. So that's pretty much what the episode is, and bringing the Christmas spirit back by doing a really horrible design Christmas card. So yeah, I apologise for the very long video, but what did we have here? 7 episodes on this side, and then 10 in the first one. South Park, it's great. There's just so much to talk about. That's why I split it into there. Don't be too bothered. It's 20 minutes. Feel free to skip around. But yeah, hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you next time. I'll have series 5 of South Park up eventually as well. There'll be more Star Wars ones on top as well. Star Wars books and films. Father Ted and Gavin and Stacey. So plan this is also the last Lord of the Rings film. So yeah, pretty busy, and hope you enjoy. So yeah, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.